On the program today, I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor.
I'm Toya Singh and we're joining you live from New Delhi this morning. Let's first take you through everything we have on this episode of The Breakfast Club. So first up, we talk a little bit about eco-friendly weddings. We've brought you a wedding series over the last few days. We've had wedding planners, wedding photographers, and there's been a seeming trend of environment-friendly weddings. So green weddings as we're seeing them, and more Indians asking for them. But what's the reality of making a green wedding? Can any wedding actually be green? Those questions and more with our guests.
And for our person of interest today, we go beyond the six-pack and go into the fitness, the basketball regime of actor Varun Sood. He is leads a multifaceted life and also opens up about his relationship on this chat exclusively with The Breakfast Club.
And after that, on Friday, our entire show was all about meditation because Saturday was the day the world meditated together, and we focus on just that, mind over matter. 8.5 million people uniting for global meditation as the world meditated with the Gurudev. This is the largest meditation gathering ever. People from 180 countries coming together. We'll talk all about it on the show.
And it's something everybody is talking about, how cold and how polluted the national capital has become. AQI remains in the severe category in Delhi NCR, dominated by PM 2.5, which is in the hazardous category. Light rainfall, however, offering some potential relief that we wait to see actually. All right, extravagant celebrations or intimate gatherings, weddings have always been about creating memories. But in today's world, where sustainability, making conscious choices, has become such a crucial concern, even a matter of pride for people, on TBC, we thought we'll talk about how you can celebrate without compromising on the joy and grandeur. So it's all about green weddings today.
And essentially, over the last month, we had a wedding series. We talked about various wedding photographers, planners, and we talked about this idea of a green wedding, whether it's actually a possibility or not, whether people are doing it. It is an emerging trend, but we wanted to understand how couples are actually making it a reality, how they're including low waste practices into their weddings to make a sustainable wedding. Does it pinch the pocket? Can you still have a large wedding if you want to make it sustainable? To tell us all of this, we thought on the show we'd bring on two couples who've made green weddings a reality for themselves. So first up, our first couple that is joining us this morning are Ashwin and Nupur. They're actually approaching their 5-year anniversary and they made all of this a reality for themselves in a very eco-friendly manner. And after that, actually, they launched in 2020 Green Miner to help other couples make weddings a reality that are eco-friendly. So we'll come over to both of you. Ashwin, Nupur, thank you for joining us early in the morning. Tell us first a little bit more about your own wedding. So how did you approach thinking through it? Did you always know you wanted a green wedding? Did you have to convince relatives, friends around you ki ye karna hai? Tell us a little bit.
Hi, thank you so much for having us. We are early risers, so no worries on the morning bit. I think Ashwin and I, we met at a beach cleanup. So we were very, very sure that we will definitely have a green wedding. And I think when we approached our wedding planning, the only idea that we had was that, we will not use anything that we pick up on the beach. So, with that in the whole sphere of things, it was kind of easy for us because we knew what to avoid, what not to use, what brief to give our family because we ended up organizing it ourselves. And I'm from the East, he's from the West, and environment brought us together. So, yes.
How beautiful. East meets the West in a very eco-friendly environment. We absolutely love that. But I'm sure 5 years down the line, do you feel like organizing a green wedding made you miss out on something big? I'm just trying to think about, these days when people imagine their wedding, they want grand entries and firecrackers and like God knows what all these days really. So do you feel like you missed out on something?
Not really. I think the aftermath of a lavish or a big wedding, which is wasteful, is quite an eyesore, and we've seen that over the years. So we knew what comes after the day after the wedding and how the venue looks like. So we very well knew that we do not want to have the aftermath of a wedding and wasteful and pick up the same trash that we created at a wedding on the beach the next day. So that is what something bothered us very much. And when we started our journey doing beach cleanups, we saw thousands of kilos of waste that was lying, which is decor waste, from weddings. And we were very, very clear that, the day we actually get married, we are not going to create the same amount of waste that you find on the beach.
Good for you.
Very cool. Okay, can we ask you, let's really get to the question I feel like that has been on all of our minds. Is it more expensive than a regular wedding? Tell us, if you don't mind, tell us how much you spent on your wedding. And I know that you've now helped other couples organize their weddings. So what are the prices like? Do you have to keep it small and intimate, for the prices to make sense? Break it down for us.
To be honest, their eco-friendly alternatives are more expensive than what you end up using. But I think the way we approach, at least for our wedding, it was very simple that our budgets was fixed. It was about 15 to 20 lakhs. We didn't want to spend more than that. And we had a limited guest count of 240 to 260 people who attended our wedding. And for us, the biggest thing was that if our budget's fixed and we want to go with alternatives, what are the things we don't really want to give so much importance to? So, for example, we did away with the pre-wedding photo shoot. In fact, we used to just take BTS of, how we are making it sustainable. And that became a pre-wedding journey. So instead of spending money there, we used that money to kind of put glass bottles in all the rooms where our guests stayed. And we gave those glass bottles to the hotel owners. So I think the idea is to have kind of a barter system, what you want not to use and what you want to use. Like I wore my mother's lehenga. So I literally saved like thousands right away, because I just decided to follow that something blue, something borrow, like that whole concept that is there. I did that. And I think, just kind of being conscious of what is not so important and what is important. You just do a deal, with yourself and knowing that environment is more important than anything else.
Yeah. Ashwin, can I have a business question from you then? Then now when you have clients approach you, is there a definite pickup, say in younger people, or I would like to say even older people who decide to get married or, or remarried, etc. Do they come now with a particular notion in mind? Do you see a rise in the trend of people wanting to not create more waste at the expense of a wedding?
Absolutely. I think we've got every month we get at least 10 to 15 queries. That speaks volumes about, couples out there intending to, wanting to do a eco-friendly wedding. What we realize is people want to do it, but just don't know how to go about it. And that's where I think Green Mina steps in. True. Because, convincing parents, convince relatives, that it starts from there. And then, allocating budgets for the same, because as I said, there's a false notion that green weddings are expensive. So we have to break that down first. So the convincing part to the couples and to the families begins from that. This is like a regular wedding. This is not an awareness program. And when we start with that, then, we kind of break it down. We're actually basically going 50, 100 years ago when weddings were actually held. And India was a largely very sustainable country. So if you look at how our parents got married, or grandparents, that's how we are actually going back to our roots.
And just to pitch in here, a lot of our queries come from like a tier 2, tier 3 cities, which is also very surprising for us. Like we have done weddings in places like Anjar and Raipur. Sometimes when we get a query, we have to Google where it is in our country. It's just literally that. So to be honest, I think it's very surprising that we are getting queries from not just the NRI crowd, from the young people. It's actually a very healthy mix.
Nice.
Can we just ask you, in the wedding traditions that typically happen with couples, is there one ritual in particular or one part of the wedding in particular that has been trickiest for you to make eco-friendly? What was that, and what's your sort of hack around it?
Yeah, I think a couple of them, and for just not one, but one of them was obviously floral waste, right? A lot of natural flowers come in oases. The green floral foam that you see, and we collected again lots of it on the beaches of Mumbai. What we do instead of the floral foam is use banana stem or aloe vera. So it has the same properties as what the green floral foam does, but it's completely biodegradable. Secondly, maybe there is a custom in Maharashtrian wedding at least of throwing rice on the couple when they're taking the fairas, and we realized that hundreds of kilos of grains are wasted in just this exercise. And we said, okay, let's have a bowl of rice, take it around, let all the guests touch it, and then you just put a few grains on the couple. That way you also reduce food wastage. So I mean, we go all the way, the minute of details on how we can make a wedding sustainable is what we Green Miner sets out to do. And this is all coming from our personal experience. We haven't done any kind of study or an experience. We built on every wedding is a learning for us.
I mean, even for our wedding, the gifts, you have the gifts, right? And you kind of package it with plastic because you want it see-through, kind of, show what's been given, what's not been given. So we kind of use those paper. We use paper, but for a lot of weddings, you need Oasis kind of like sheer fabric. And after the wedding, we make potlies out of it, where you can give gifts to it. So it's just about being conscious of every little thing that you're doing.
All right, Ashwin and Nupur, thank you so much for sharing those details. We were just looking at your lovely wedding pictures as well. Looked like a lot of fun, and I think that's what's really key, right, when it comes to your big day. But that's not it. We've also got another couple. So Ashwin and Nupur actually do this for a living now. They help other people organize events, weddings, and the rest of it in a green way. But we are meeting now somebody, Seher and Mehul, who also had an eco-friendly wedding, and they also set in a blueprint of sorts on how to keep it more responsible even if you are having it abroad. So welcome on the program. Thank you so much for joining us. My first question obviously is this: where did the thought of a green wedding actually come from, and घर वालों ने क्या बोला कि ये क्या campaigning चल रही है?
Hi everyone, thank you so much for having us. So excited to talk about sustainable weddings this morning. So actually, Mehul and I are really into sustainability. We, personally, I studied it. We also together ran a sustainable organization. So I think it was not, it was kind of a very easy transition. Everyone expected that we would have a sustainable wedding. So in terms of communicating, we did kind of have a little lunch with both of our parents early on, maybe even a year before our wedding, and said, you know what, these are a few things that Mehul and I have discussed and talked about that we'd love to articulate to you because we want to incorporate into our wedding. And we discussed everything, like, the budget's going to be 50-50. We're going to pick and choose a few ceremonies that might be important to you and then make our own ceremony. So I think having that conversation upfront with our parents is really, set the stage. But I think we have really supportive parents. Yeah. So we're really grateful for that because they were just like all yeses and all yeas for everything that we suggested.
That's awesome. So your wedding actually happened in Thailand, I believe, on the beaches of Thailand. Can you just tell us a little bit about the rituals? Because there was a lot of thought that went into creating very unique rituals for this wedding. What were those rituals? Just share with our audiences, please.
Yeah, sure. So we started off with having the wedding on the beach. We didn't choose a mosque or a temple because nature is sacred to us. Next, we started with the tree planting. We started planting with a coconut tree because it's native to Thailand. It's also, a tree that my dad had in our house. And it was the first drink that was offered to Mehul's parents when they came home from that coconut tree that my dad planted many years before he passed, actually. So it was a way to also kind of incorporate him into the ceremony. And then we asked our parents to officiate. We thought, having an imam or a priest that we've never met before officiate our big day was not in alignment with us. And we really kind of were appreciative to our parents. So we had them officiate the wedding. We also asked them, what are a few things that are important to them? And they said, like a garland exchange. So we incorporated a really nice, eco-friendly, completely compostable garland, for example. For my mom, it was incorporating a version of a nikah. So we signed a little Canva document that we designed on printed on recycled paper. And I think we shared our vows that were really personal and really deep. And I think that's my favorite part, honestly, of our wedding is Mehul's vows.
Okay. So coming back to the sustainability theme then, are there certain areas where you felt it was a bit of a struggle to incorporate it, or certain things you had to let go of because you were so determined to keep it green?
I think it really depends. So I when I went into this itself with Seher, I really thought that not everything cannot be 100% sustainable.
Yeah.
And we were trying our best to kind of make it as sustainable as possible. And you need to be aware that, it cannot become fully sustainable all at once within one wedding itself. It's a journey. So what we struggled with for sure is, of course, first of all, coming to terms that our wedding was kind of abroad. We wanted to do it, of course, locally, but there were circumstances that we couldn't kind of avoid, and we had to do it somewhere else. So coming to terms with that itself mentally is tough, considering we are in a sustainable business. We're thinking about all these things, and then suddenly it's like, oh, you know what, you have to go somewhere else to get married. Was kind of tough, but we came to terms with that. We kind of did this whole climate situation, carbon offsetting situation, where we kind of thought that is a good solution. Then another aspect that did take a little bit of time is, of course, the food aspect of things. Everyone has different kind of dietary restrictions, dietary requirements. So we really wanted to kind of cater to all kinds of people, but we asked everyone before we kind of did a full-on decision about what food is going to be there. We asked everyone what their requirements are and what it would be. So that takes effort to kind of like get everyone to respond to us and tell us what they're going to eat. But that was again something that I feel like was something that we need to learn to do rather than just put a full spread. Can we understand what the audience or our guests wanted before we actually put together a celebration like this?
Can you tell us, both of you, Seher, Mehul, just tell us, we just showed our audiences visuals of a beach cleanup that I think you made your guests do. Post the wedding, what has the feedback been like? Has there been a ripple effect? Have you seen, the people who came talk about it months later? And during that beach cleanup, was anyone complaining?
Yeah, we did mention that was optional because it was the day after, everyone danced till like 5 a.m. and the next morning we're like, all right, beach cleanup at 8 a.m. But I think in my mom's only request was, please have it after the wedding ceremony because you're not going to get super tan and spend the whole day really sweaty on the beach. So it was so it's all about kind of finding a good way to meet at the median. But I think it was a great way to articulate our values to, I think, 3 generations. We had grandparents, we have our nieces and nephews, and then of course our peers. So I feel like it was an opportunity to communicate that you can have a sustainable wedding that is super fun, but is super thoughtful and mindful, and kind of invite everyone into our value system. So I think that was really something that I took back. And even now, whenever people talk about weddings, they always say like, gosh, I think it was the most meaningful ceremony, because often, they're long ceremonies and you just feel so disconnected. You're just there, but then you're like, okay, when is the sangeet? When is the dancing part? When's the fun part? But, I think everyone felt the most connected during our wedding ceremony itself, which was kind of a new thing. My nieces and nephews and, a part of the beach cleanup, which was so sweet to see it. They were like the most excited by that as well.
How lovely. So teaching next generation too, in a sense.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. All right, Seher and Mehul, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your green wedding story with all our viewers. We are hoping that we've inspired some more to say that, listen, hey, green weddings also can be fun, and the environment will really bless you if that's really what you're going for. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
On that note, we're going to slip into a break. Coming up on the other side, Mind Over Matter, 8.5 million unite for global meditation, which was on Saturday. We'll bring you the details on the other side.
Baba.
الذي حصل أمس من قصف للكهرباء وكذلك للموانئ وكذلك للنفط وكذلك أكثر من موقع فلا يخيفنا نهائيا، فقد تعودنا أكثر من 10 سنين ونحن نقاتل أذنابهم فنحن نقاتل أذنابهم السعودية والإمارات، ما بالك من الآن عندما بنقاتل رأسا وجها لوجه الكيان الصهيوني أو كذلك الأمريكيين، فنحن لا نخاف نهائيا. وبالنسبة لهذا الشيء الشيء المهم من هذا كله أنه لماذا يستهدفوا المصالح العامة، مصالح المواطنين.
والله نظري إلى الضربات التي تحدث في العاصمة صنعاء وفي جميع المحافظات ليست إلا أشياء مما حدث من السابق. 10 سنين ونحن تحت القصف لم يضرنا أي أذى، وبالنسبة لقصفهم لم يهز فينا شعره، ونبلغهم والله لنشوين جلودهم هؤلاء الطغاة، هؤلاء الذين يريدون أن يروعون المواطنين. أما بالنسبة للمجاهدين فهدفهم تحرير بيت المقدس.
مؤكدين على الآتي: أولا نحيي صمود وثبات المجاهدين أمتي.
Welcome back. It's time to take a check on the pollution meter. No good news really coming out there. Temperatures are dipping. Pollution remains to be quite severe. GRAP 4 is in place. But there might be a little relief on the cards. Let's see the numbers with Toya.
Right, let's take a bit of a deep dive here. So if we just take a look at the numbers as they stand, Delhi and the NCR region actually woke up to a bit of a drizzle this morning, which was a bit of a surprise. As we check, 9.2 degrees is the temperature you've got coming in, AQI at 410. But let's take a more detailed look at the number. We have already told you it's not the greatest news when it comes to the numbers in general, and you can very much see that. It's a wash of purple, but at least it's not a wash of maroon. We've opened this in the last few days and actually found maroon at many points. Now, where are we seeing the highest numbers coming in? Let's just check in. Unfortunately, it's right next door. Our offices are in Noida, and it's right here, Sector 116, that the entire NCR is seeing its worst number, 693 coming in at hazardous. Now, parts of Delhi where you typically have very high numbers. So we're talking, for example, about these regions, 311, 343, so not as bad as they typically are, as they've been in the last few days. Lower numbers in general. And if you come down to the green lung area of Delhi, again, numbers are getting better for Delhiites. You've got 199 coming in from Sri Aurobindo Marg. Let's just check in RK Puram, right next to the biodiversity forest, 273. So it's seemingly affected positively by the green lungs. And as we move towards the center of the city over here, as you can see, the numbers are staying in that region. Very quickly, before we let you go, we're just going to check in on Gurugram over here. So just to compare, let's just step back for a second. You've actually got some of your best numbers coming in from Gurgaon. So from the Haryana side of the NCR region. Just take a look at that. If you look at all of the numbers, AQI definitely improving in that region. 183 coming in here from Vikas Sadan in this region. So Delhi almost in the middle there with Noida, and we just want to show you, just see that number. As we've spoken in the last few minutes, the Noida numbers have gone even higher. So now you've got from the same region where we were showing you right in the beginning that you were showing 600 plus, now you've got 999, which remember every time we tell you is the highest the machines can record. You've got 999 now coming in from right here where we are. So not a good picture at all, Sonal. Very similar though to the data we've been showing in the last few days.
Yeah, but it was drizzling in the morning, so we're expecting some relief over there. Let's see how that actually pans out. But for now, let's take a look at the stories coming in from the country. Indian markets rebounded sharply in December, supported by renewed activity from foreign portfolio investors who turned net buyers after 2 consecutive months of selling on expectations of potential US Fed relief and reserve rate cut in the upcoming meeting. Now, this marks a significant reversal from their actions in November when they had sold shares worth 21,612 crore rupees, and October, which witnessed a record high outflow as well of 94,017 crore.
And after a slow start with a YOY decline of 10% in the first quarter, India's hiring landscape began to stabilize in quarter 2 as industries adjusted. A hiring analysis or trends analysis of the last year by Naukri.com has revealed that by the third quarter of the year, hiring showed a strong rebound driven by a resurgent IT sector. Emerging cities actually posted impressive growth and fresher hiring stabilized.
Delhi Airport has cemented its position as the global aviation hub, becoming the first in India to connect to 150 destinations. The milestone was achieved on Sunday when Thai Air Asia inaugurated direct flights between Delhi and Bangkok. Now, the route operated by Airbus A330 aircraft will initially run twice a week, with plans to increase the frequency to 4 times a week by mid-January of next year.
The Indian Railways in the past year introduced several new reforms, with the Railways Bill 2024 taking centre stage. Now, the bill aims to improve operational efficiency and grant autonomy to railway zones. In 2024, so in this past year, the electrification of more railway lines, it actually touched 7,000 kilometers plus. It's around 14.5 kilometers per day. Imagine that. Now, the railways also completed the construction of the much-awaited new Pamban Bridge. It's India's first vertical lift sea bridge. It will replace the existing bridge that is aged more than 100 years old.
Latest figures shared by Commerce Department showed that, marking a major shift in India's trade, services exports are projected to overtake the goods shipment in November. After months of sustained increase, last month's increase exports have been provisionally estimated to $35.7 billion compared to $32.1 billion of merchandise of goods exports.
So on Friday, our entire show was focused on World Meditation Day, which took place on Saturday. We taught you how to meditate, and we're keeping along with that theme. We're touching on something that took place over the weekend. The World Meditates with Gurudev event shattered records. It earned a place in the Guinness World Records, the Asia Book of Records, and the World Records Union, as you had 8.5 million people, actually more than that, across 180 countries come together in a historic moment of collective meditation. It was led by Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, and it's an unprecedented event. It marks a new benchmark for global unity in a sense, and of course the idea of inner peace.
Now, the event saw participation from people of all ages, backgrounds, including farmers, corporates, members of the military, even prisoners for that matter. What's remarkable is that this event has inspired a global movement for inner peace and universal harmony.
We've set the minimum at 17,000. And so, with a total of 344,284, the art of living. You are the new Guinness World Records title holders for the most concurrent viewers of a guided meditation live stream on YouTube. Congratulations, you are officially amazing.
All right, and with that, we are moving into a quick break. And on the other side, our person of interest for this Monday morning is going to inspire you, not just with his commitment to acting, but also because this man is a basketball player and he plays internationally too. He's going to tell us about those achievements and more, leave you inspired for the rest of your day today. Varun Sood joins us on the other side.
Baba.
الذي حصل أمس من قصف للكهرباء وكذلك للموانئ وكذلك للنفط وكذلك أكثر من موقع فلا يخيفنا نهائيا. فقد تعودنا أكثر من 10 سنين ونحن نقاتل أذنابهم. فنحن نقاتل أذنابهم السعودية والإمارات، ما بالك من الآن عندما بنقاتل رأسا وجه لوجه كذا الكيان الصهيوني أو كذلك الأمريكيين. فنحن لا نخاف نهائيا. وبالنسبة لهذا الشيء الشيء المهم من هذا كله أنه لماذا يستهدفوا المصالح العامة، مصالح المواطنين.
والله نظري إلى الضربات التي تحدث في العاصمة صنعاء وفي جميع المحافظات ليست إلا أشياء مما حدث من السابق. 10 سنين ونحن تحت القصف لم يضرنا أي أذى، وبالنسبة لقصفهم لم يهز فينا شعره، ونبلغهم والله لنشوين جلودهم هؤلاء الطغاة، هؤلاء الذين يريدون أن يروعون المواطنين. أما بالنسبة للمجاهدين فهدفهم تحرير بيت المقدس.
Welcome back. So, for our person of interest today, we've got a very special guest. He's charming, he's talented, he's Varun Sood. He's come a long way as well, a reality TV star, and further sort of diving into acting world as well. He has, and let's also not forget the recent project where he played the character, the unforgettable character that the internet is raving about, and Call Me Bay alongside Ananya Pandey. But there's more to him than just good looks and good looks and good looks and his chiseled physique. But Toya will tell you all about it.
So to discover exactly what was there in the What's More, we already know, if you follow him, he's a basketball enthusiast. He talks all about it. He's a recent new mama. And he's also just a passionate individual who wears his heart on his sleeve. So to bring some of that positivity onto the show, we thought we'd invite Varun on. Let's go over to him to ask him a little bit more. All right, good morning, Varun. Thank you for joining us here on the show. Varun, tell us, everyone talks about how fit you are. So we'd almost be, doing a disservice by not touching on the fact that sub tabloids yahi keh rahe hain ki aap bahut exercise karte ho. Are you tired of talking about fitness at all?
I feel like I've been training for the last almost like 10 years now, 10, 11 years. And it's something that's very in my lifestyle, and I don't think too much about it. But ever since I've become an actor and I've come to the industry, people like look at it as a very different thing. They're like, "Oh, you're so fit. What's your lifestyle like?" It's very normal for me. So yeah, in a way, I am kind of over it. I am kind of over the fact that people overcomplicate it or make it a big deal, because I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's a very necessary part of everybody's life. And yeah, that's about it.
Nice, but we heard you're into basketball as well, and the NBA is sitting in for India. Tell us all about that.
So I watch the NBA every morning. Every morning I have to get up at 4:30 to watch my games. And I still play professional basketball. Every time I'm not acting, every time I'm not on the screen, I am playing professional basketball. I recently played in Sri Lanka for a FIBA tournament, won that tournament. I played in a FIBA tournament in Abu Dhabi, stood fourth in that tournament. And this is like
Nice.
the world level, the best athletes in the world. So still very much connected to the game, still playing it.
Would you have wanted to be a professional basketballer if you had that choice?
I think I'm not that skilled enough to play at that level, or maybe I didn't see it as a career when I was growing up. I always saw it as a passion, and maybe that's why I didn't put in that extra effort that it needs to be put in to make it a career. But 100%, I would definitely want more infrastructure for basketball in India. Like in Mumbai, there's literally nothing. All the courts have been converted to paddleball courts. There are no kids playing anymore. And I feel with such a big population, we still don't have anybody in the NBA right now. And that needs to be talked about. And I wish that people look into it, and eventually, hopefully, the sport of basketball grows in India.
All right, paddle, pickle people, watch it. But Varun, we'll talk about your acting also just in a bit. But since we're seeing these lovely pictures of you with Ranvijay, we'll have to ask about the starting of your journey. He's been a sort of a big brother to you, right? And you were on roadies as well. So take us back to the very beginning.
Yes, roadies was like the beginning of everything. And I mean, very special show for me, because I think that was one show that made me realize that I really enjoy being in front of the camera. Not acting per se, but just like being in front of the camera. And Ranvijay Bhai was there with me all throughout. We've had similar lives. We've had similar backgrounds. And that's why he could understand where I'm coming from. Like he could understand the difficulties that I would face in the future. And that's why he was always there with me. The bond grew to a point where he's literally family now. And I'm so glad that I had somebody in my life who could just guide me through everything, and just like be around and not let me face everything alone. Because he did it when he was here, and when he had to make a decision of not joining the army and joining this industry. He just didn't let me go through any difficulties alone, and I love that. Yeah, I mean, he's taught me one thing that if you help people, then the universe in different ways will help you. And
Comes back, yeah.
if eventually in the future I am at a position of mentoring somebody 100%, right now I'm still not. Right now I'm still the youngest brother in that group. But if in the future there's somebody who needs my help in this capacity, and I grow this close to that person 100%.
That's not entirely true, though, right? You do have someone to mentor. You just became a mama. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
So actually, I became a mama for the first time when I was, I was 22. I was 22. So we have a Didi in our house. Her name is Sapna Didi. She has been with us for the longest time, and she got married and she had a baby. And then I consider Samara my niece, my first niece. And then I was too young to understand what the word niece really means. And now that he is born, I realized that we have to be their friends. Like eventually in this generation, because they will have access to so many things around the world. To keep them away from a particular topic or particular thing will be very difficult. I think being their friends at a very young age will kind of solve the problem. Being soft to them, not making them scared of life, is something that I've learned over the years with Samara, and now eventually will implement that on Heath. So that's my point of view of being a mama to both my nieces. That I need to be their best friend.
Nice. So let's shift focus now from personal life to one on the screen. And the latest project, Call Me Bae, got everybody raving. Your character Prince was both adored and kind of like Ross in some way. People were drawing parallels to it. But what is your hope for how this character builds up and how this character arc shapes up in the next season?
I think Prince was really loved by everybody. And when I was doing the show, I knew that the show will do very well and all the characters will do very well. And I didn't probably see the fact that Prince will be one of the most loved characters, because I was shocked by the reaction. I was absolutely blown away. I knew that the girl gang, the Behan code will work a lot. I knew like some aspects will work a lot, because when you're doing the scene, when you're in the scene, you kind of figure it out. But Prince really worked. I just hope that they keep making more seasons and Prince is there. That's my hope for the character.
Varun, younger members in our team were really excited, not just to have you on, but also to ask you this next question. Have you been friend zoned before in your life, like your character is on the show?
Yeah, so many times in school. But in school, I never realized this, that sometimes a person will not like you or will not fall in love with you because they'll not fall in love with you. And I have to always find a reason back in the day that why is it not happening? And eventually when I grew up, I just figured out that maybe they don't feel like what you feel for them, and which is completely normal. And like back in the day, I never dealt with it very well. I used to always like cry and like blame myself for certain things. But now I think I've reached a point where I'm like, yeah, some people don't probably feel the same way as you feel for them, and it's completely normal. I mean, it still hurts, but the way of dealing with it is a lot better.
All right. So, Varun, one has to ask you, you've shot to fame quite recently as well. People are talking about you. It's your moment. But the projection that media sometimes might have towards you, is that a concern? Is it all about good looks sometimes? Is it trivial? Do you find it frivolous even?
Yeah, I do. I do. And there are certain days where it's great. Everybody needs validation, both men and women. It's great. But certain days I'm like, I'm more than that. And just because I look a certain way, just because I've worked hard on my physical appearance a certain way, that doesn't mean that all the other things are not considered. Like a lot of people, when they saw Call Me Bae, when they loved Prince, or when they saw Karma Calling, and when they loved Ahan, they were like, "Oh, you looked great on screen. You did a very good job." Not realizing that to even get that part, I had to audition and like the audition process for both these shows were really intense. To even be endearing on screen, you have to know your craft really well. You have to dedicate your time to the workshops. Just having a six-pack ab or having muscles on your body doesn't mean that you're a great actor. That just was a byproduct of me trying to look like the character. And people don't realize it. People just like look at the physical aspect of the whole thing, and then they objectify me, which is okay sometimes, but sometimes they have to acknowledge the fact that I've kind of worked really hard to be the character even physically.
Tell us, Varun, a little bit. This is the Breakfast Club and it's a morning show, and we want to leave our audiences with a bit of a morning mantra if we can. So, for yourself, what's your process to maintaining a positive headspace?
The only way I think I stay positive is the fact that there are people out there who have it a lot worse. I always draw out examples every now and then if I feel like shit. Every now and then when I feel extremely low or something didn't work out for me probably, I always look at things where people have it a lot worse. And I'm like, I'm great. I have a great family. I have a house. I have food to eat. I am doing the things that I'm doing. Like how I told you that when I'm not on set, I'm playing professional basketball. Now, because I've worked very hard all through my life where I can do that and not worry about being back. Of course, like I would love to be back on a set ASAP as soon as the project ends. But obviously being in this industry, we know that it takes some time. So that wait period, it bothers me, but it doesn't bother me that much because I'm still doing the things that I love doing. I'm still around the people who I love. My family is there, my friends are there. So I just think about the people who have it a lot worse. And I'm like, my life is good. Why am I worrying about things that are not in my control? I should just live it in a way where when I don't have the time, I don't complain about the fact that I need a holiday because this is my holiday time. So I'm just like happy with the fact that I get to do the things that I do.
Yeah. So Varun, we're also speaking in the last full week of 2024. It's the time when a lot of people make, manifest, think about what the future will hold. Are you thinking about a dream project that you would like 2025 to bring along?
I honestly want to be a part of something like the Hangover series. I want to do something which is properly comedy for myself. And I mean, of course, being part of a basketball project in association with the NBA would be fantastic. But that would be the obvious thing to do. I think I would love to be part of a proper comedy film.
Who would be the others on that hangover journey with you? Like, who would you cast along with you?
I would definitely be Alan, 100%. I would love to play that character. Ranbhai can be Bradley Cooper, and the other dentist guy can be my other brother, Ranvijay's younger brother, Harman. I think that would be a great cast to have.
All right, Varun Sood, manifesting Hangover comedy series for you. Good luck with everything that 2025 brings along. Thanks so much for joining us. All right, so that was a person of interest. With that, we've come towards the business segment on the program. Next, we bring you a special segment on financial markets powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing and business insights. Let's start with markets and how they're pegged to open this morning. GIFT Nifty is reading signals a strong opening for Indian equities. US markets closed after a strong rally on Friday, which is likely to be reflected on the Indian markets this Monday morning. Now, Asian markets started the week on a positive note as well. Gold and oil prices are trading marginally higher in the Asian markets.
All right, let's take a look at a sector in particular. Some engineering solution companies making critical parts and precision engineering components. We're going to take a look at them. These are sold, these components, to highly specialized sectors. So we're talking, for example, about aerospace, defense, semiconductors, energy. all of these are sectors that demand very, very strict compliance. What that means is that entry barriers exist because the business requires investment in infrastructure, technology and skilled labor. And growth potential actually appears immense as global MRO tooling market size is estimated to be around $19 billion. That's 19 billion US dollars. You can actually log into Money Control Pro to find out more about India's diamond sector, various other actionable insights on the markets. It's the premier destination for all investing views and financial insights that you're ever going to need. Brought to you by Money Control. And with that, we're drawing our show to a close, and a programming note for you. It's finally that time of the year. Indian of the Year awards are back here on the channel. This is your chance to celebrate the visionaries, the icons that make the country proud. Right from trailblazing business leaders to inspiring youth icons to entertainers, sports legends, change makers. These are all incredible individuals that have left their mark, inspiring millions worldwide.
You can show your support by voting for your favorite Indian at www.indianoftheyear.com. Together, let's honor India's pride, the world's inspiration. This is RP Sanjeev Goenka Group presents CNN News 18 Indian of the Year 2024.
Okay, and with that, we're drawing our show to a close. It's wedding season as we speak. It's on a bit of a pause right now, Christmas, New Year's, but wedding season will kick right back in, and we hope that our episode today left you with a lot of inspiration, even inspiration to discuss with your friends how to do it in a sustainable manner.
Meanwhile, Toya and I are going to put on our shopping boots and we are going to go do some Christmas hopping.
Very excited.
We have a special Christmas episode also coming up for you, which is going to be on the 25th. For now, remember, be nice, be good, be gentle with people around you. It's the holiday season. It's the time to give and reflect as well. We'll catch you again tomorrow.
See you.
Ciao.
Goodbye.
Go Pollen.
الذي حصل أمس من قصف للكهرباء وكذلك للموانئ وكذلك للنفط وكذلك أكثر من موقع فلا يخيفنا نهائيا. فقد تعودنا أكثر من 10 سنين ونحن نقاتل أذنابهم. فنحن نقاتل أذنابهم السعودية والإمارات، ما بالك من الآن عندما بنقاتل رأسا وجها لوجه كذا الكيان الصهيوني أو كذلك الأمريكيين. فنحن لا نخاف نهائيا. وبالنسبة لهذا الشيء الشيء المهم من هذا كله أنه لماذا يستهدفوا المصالح العامة، مصالح المواطنين.
والله نظري إلى الضربات التي تحدث في العاصمة صنعاء وفي جميع المحافظات ليست إلا أشياء مما حدث من السابق. 10 سنين ونحن تحت القصف لم يضرنا أي أذى، وبالنسبة لقصفهم لم يهز فينا شعره، ونبلغهم والله لنشوين جلودهم هؤلاء الطغاة، هؤلاء الذين يريدون أن يروعون المواطنين. أما بالنسبة للمجاهدين فهدفهم تحرير بيت المقدس.
Good morning, viewers. Hello and welcome to the Morning News Show, where we bring you the latest headlines and insightful stories to kickstart your day. I'm Kuina Sharma and you are watching CNN News 18. First up, on top of this bulletin, we're tracking some breaking inputs coming in from Punjab and Uttar Pradesh together, where 3 pro-K terrorists of the Khalistani Zindabad force were actually killed in Pilibhit during a joint operation conducted by Punjab and Uttar Pradesh's police. Now, the encounter broke out after criminals threw grenades and bombs at a police station in Gurdaspur in Punjab. Now, the encounter took place in Puranpur, Pilibhit, between a joint team of Uttar Pradesh police and Punjab police. 2 AK-47 rifles, 2 Glock pistols and a large quantity of ammunition was actually recovered during the encounter. 3 criminals, Gurvinder Singh, Virendra Singh alias Ravi, and Jaspreet Singh, also known as Pratap Singh, all residents of Gurdaspur, were actually taken down. These are the latest inputs that we are tracking from the ground, where from Pilibhit, where the Khalistani Zinda force terrorists had earlier attacked a police station in Gurdaspur earlier this month in Punjab using grenades and bombs, triggering a massive manhunt for all the accused in this entire case. The encounter with the joint team of Punjab and UP police in Pilibhit led to the elimination of the 3 wanted criminals and recovery of a heavy weaponry. Well, these are the latest inputs that we are tracking from the ground, where now in a joint operation with Punjab police, UP police has been able to bust and get hold of the 3 accused.